let's look at some tactics that we can use so that not only with our footwork, but we can put ourselves in a better position to score. Okay? So the first one I want to look at here is what I call a false attack. And what I mean by a false attack is this. Okay? A false attack is you start on, say, this line, right? So you start on the line. On the same line that you start is the line you're going to finish. Okay? So an example of a false attack would be, here's an example, right? I go jab, I go stop, and then I finish my jab, right? That's a false attack. So I've started on my high line, I stay on my high line, and then I finish it, right? As long as it's on the same line. So now, when you do that, what happens is you're hoping that there is an anticipation of wanting to defend, right? So an example would be like if he just patted my hands, right? So he defended, then I went, and then I caught him. Because he went for the defense, but there was nothing there, and then suddenly something touches it, right? I start in one line, but my goal is to end in another. So an easy way to kind of build this framework in your mind to when you're looking at somebody is, so when I'm looking at Chris, okay, I put him in a rectangle. And for now, because we're using hands, let's say the rectangle stops at his hips and stops at the top of his head and he's in a rectangle. Okay, so anything here is what I would say is the inside. Okay, so anywhere here is the inside, and anything here is the outside. So there's inside and outside. And then if I split his body on that rectangle, which would be around about his sternum, we'll say that that is high, that is low. Okay, so that's important when you think about feints. So for example, I can feint high, end low. Okay, I can go feint low, end high. Now, I don't know if you notice that there's a body attitude that comes with that. Well, what I mean is, I'm not going, nobody reacts to that, right? But if we're sparring and I go to Chris like this, there's a reaction, right? He's thinking, well, something's coming, right? Okay. And I'm hoping that he overreacts to it so much that he creates an opening. That's why one of the reasons I'm not a fan of blocking like this is because it opens you for this. Can you imagine, for example, you've been taught every time somebody does something to your stomach, like punches your stomach, you're going to block down, right? It's a very common defense, right? So block that. Okay, so I might be moving, I let him block and go, oh, he did that. And the next time I go, for that very reason. Because I know he's going to be drawn into it, okay? So, I can start high, and it's the same hand, you notice? Start high, end low. Can I do it off the rear? Absolutely, I can start high, end low, okay? Or I can go starting low, end high, right? Now, I can also go either from the inside to the outside, or from the outside to the inside. Example, that would be, I fire my jab, so I'm going inside, that's my feint, to bam, high line, right? Okay, so I went from the inside to the outside, and I did it on the same line, okay? That's fine. Or I can go, pretend that I'm going to hook, to turn it, bam, into a punch, to go to the inside. You see what I'm saying here? So that's why you've got that box split. This is inside, that's outside, it's high, it's low. So a false attack is starting on one line and ending on the line that you started in. That would be a false attack. So even if I went low, like this, and then I went like that, that's still a false attack. Okay? As soon as I go starting in one line, but ending in another, now we're doing feints. And then naturally, right, that should be followed up with something else. Besides that, now I want you to add in this. There's a couple of things here that connect to this, but let's just play off just one thing. I want you to do attack by drawing. And what I mean by that is, you have to feel the time, right? If somebody's like pressuring you all the time, that's not the time to do attack by drawing. What you're waiting for is a kind of almost like a lull in action. You know, where he's engaged and then he's like step back, like he's moved back. Now's a good time to do it, and there's some space, right? So what do I mean by attack by drawing? Typically on this one, I'm going to mainly use my front hand because I always want to keep my rear hand in a defensive position. I don't want to take this away. Because if this messes up, I want to be able to revert to maybe a shoulder roll as an example, right? So what I do now is instead of me here, where I am all the time, I'm going to purposely do that. When he sees that, typically he might go for that shot. And knowing, because I'm drawing him, attack by drawing, I'm going to catch him as he goes for that. So I can lift my hand high so that he goes low, or I can drop my hand low so that he goes high so that I can catch him in an opening that's been created. So attack by drawing basically means you're going to, on purpose, open your structure, allowing him to come in, right? So you're baiting him, and as he goes for it, you catch him. Now, even on this one, which is nice, if you drop low, if he goes to my head and I just move, that shot's really, so there, right? Okay.